Happy day, happy day. I am Erica Kesse. I'm a love force with mysterious wisdom, celebrating life. And we're here again for part 3 of the Connect and Flourish series. And we're going to be talking about building friendships today. So we have been talking about, in this Connect and Flourish series, 3 parts. And so the first part was making friends with AI. The second was finding friends with AI. And now it is building friendships. The whole reason behind this is because I noticed, and I actually got some a percentage out there that 50% of entrepreneurs have mental health conditions and need to be working on their self-work. But also, I have been in a program where I was able to give Thrive plans to help people to thrive, entrepreneurs specifically, and found that a lot of them don't have a social support system or friendships, even business besties. So I said, okay, let me create an opportunity for people to know and learn how to build these relationships, which are the lifeline of yourself first and your business. So AI is the rave these days. And so AI is very, very, it's just so impressive to me. And it can be used, people are using it for different things. And it has a capability to be used in all different ways according to our thought processes of how we can allow it to be beneficial. And one way it can be beneficial is with building friendships and having relationships. It even helps us to know how to relate to others. I have a couple stories that I'm going to share throughout this, but let me just do a quick recap. So in making friends with AI, it is important to take a Google Doc or some kind of document and write out, this is self-work, your values, your vision, your mission. Write out who you are, what makes you specific and a beautiful being. Let that be known. Write that out clearly. Write out what you do, all the things that you do, your multifaceted nature of who you are. Maybe even write out a joke, put in a testimonial, all these types of things, books that you've written, all the things, put it on a sheet. And then take that and put it into, and I call ChatGPT Gilly. So let Gilly know that I'm just submitting this information for you to know for priming. And Kathy's going to talk to you about that. Kathy's going to do a recap after I do the first, and we're just going to go back and forth with that, and then we'll go into the last piece, building friendships. So also, you must be clear on what your boundaries are. What is it that you truly need from AI, from people, and also with AI, Gilly, this is a way to communicate. It really teaches you, if you are communicating well, to be able to get the response that you need or want from another person. It also helps you to understand if you're intuitive enough to figure out what are you showing to a person and or Gilly, and what kind of information you're getting back. But one great thing about Gilly is it's always going to be so polite and kind and caring. And you maybe think, what, AI caring? But actually, give it a try. Tell it any kind of conflict you have with it and watch the response. It's very it'll say something like, thank you so much for your understanding. I'll try to do a better job next time. It's never going to push back at you. It's never going to say to you that you did something bad. It's going to just accept it and say, I'm here. And that is what we're looking for in our relationships. We don't have to push. We can have individuals and relationships in which they're always going to be nurturing and incite care for us. So that's the first piece on how we really build out friendship with AI? Is there something that you want to share about that piece, making friends with AI?
No, I think just reiterating the point where the more it knows about you, not your social security, not your credit cards, not your address, but you as a human being, the more it knows about you, the more it can assist you. And that's no different than with human beings. The more people know about you, the more they can help you. And if you ask me for help and I have a little bit of context about your story or your journey, I'll be able to help you more rather than a stranger. So,
oh my goodness, that's so good. That's
yeah.
so, because the more that you tell people about you, they can give you examples that will resonate best with you based on the examples. So when I'm talking to somebody, I know that they have a dog, then I can talk to them as if, have you ever walked your dog and they just stopped and smell the fresh air? Maybe you should smell the fresh air. Actually, I told that story because it happened to a client, and he was telling me about that. And I was like, maybe you should be smelling the fresh air.
Well, it's no different, honestly, than when people say, I keep getting generic responses from ChatGPT, because you're giving it a generic prompt. Anybody can say, I'm CT, I'm a solopreneur, and I help, women over 40 start a business. That's so generic. Like, it can give me any generic response back. But if it knows, like, I'm for the underdog, I believe in, just like fostering and service, and I come from that space, it's going to give me a totally different response. So generic input, generic output, personalized input, personalized output.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for saying that. Go back to what you said about priming. Sorry, no, you said something about prompting. Can you go over all those
3 P's?
The 3 P's.
The 3 P's. So we had talked about that. So the 3 P's of ChatGPT is you prime it. So priming is this Google Doc where it knows your values, your missions, your books, who you are, knows your voice, understands you. And if you give that to ChatGPT or an AI tool, that's what we call priming. You're priming it with information. You're giving it information. And before you ask for it, no different than in human relations. So it knows a little bit about you, and then you ask for help, and the person's going to be able to help you. AI can help you a lot more if it knows you. So the prompting is the request for help or the request to do something. It's just another way of saying it, prompting. Now, the personas are the role that you want someone to play. So how many times as a human being do you just want to vent and you want the person to listen? The role that they're playing is listening. Or you go to a counselor and the role that they're playing is to give advice and to help you see a different way. Or if you go to the doctor, they're either going to prescribe or give you medicine, right? So you've got to tell the AI tool what persona, what role do you want them to play so that it can cater their response and know what level of expertise do they bring to the conversation.
Oh my goodness, thank you. And I feel like the 3 parts of this series, making friends with AI, was the priming. So that's the priming. The how to find friends is the prompt. And so with the things that I mentioned with the finding friends is you already had to prime it first. And then you share the attributes that you want. That's part of the priming as well. But you say specifically, you ask for a list of people that fit that criteria. You ask for a way to contact them, and you ask for the best approach. That's the prompt that you can get and use in order to find the people that you want to be friends with you. Amazing. And then now lastly today, we're going to talk more about persona, which is the building friendships. Now, I said building friendships. I said that because a lot of times people don't understand networking. This is building friendships is the same as opposed to be the same as networking. You will get better aligned with the right people and the right circumstances for your business and yourself if you decide to stop networking and decide to build friendships, because friendships mean that there's going to be a long lasting, consistent growth and connection that you can have with that person. More and more information that you find and learn, you can use that to then maybe do a project later. Like, for example, let's talk about Cathi and I. Cathi and I did this project together. I am the kind of person where that's the best way for me to know and vet if a person is someone I want to continue to be a friend with. If they show up, they're responsive, they're on time, they they teach me something. I get to expand from the relationship. I get ignited and inspired. Like I get ideas when I'm interacting with them. Those are the things that I need from my friendships. And that's what I got. I met Cathi in a group. I saw her. I said, ooh. And sometimes we have to really pay attention to that. We can be like, oh, wow, this person impresses me. This is the person you should approach. But a lot of times we do not, because we think that maybe that person's out of my league, or maybe they're not going to respond back. But everybody is looking to connect as much as they can, especially if you say you're a business owner. Connection should be a part of your strategy. Like, it's important for you to be interacting with people as much as possible. And it doesn't mean that I have to get something immediately from that person. It is a slow roll. I have a relationship with a lady I've been involved with for like 3 years. And it's been the most beautiful. She told me earlier today that it was my lifeline, and no one else would talk about, no one else would come and talk with me about business. So I needed that. Somebody is coming in here. Let's see what we're going to admit someone into.
Who's coming?
Here. Somebody came. Oh, then they left. Okay. Well, okay. Yes. Hello, Ansa. Thank you so much for coming. We are in the middle of talking about finding friends with, building friendship and what that means. Going back with the building of friendship, it's important to see it as that, as something that you're growing, something that you are allowing it to flourish and be with the more that you are sharing yourself. And going back to the things that we talked about before, when you are interacting with friends, it's important to go back, prime. That means train them on what is happening or what is happening for you. As time goes on, we grow, we change, we explore, and so we must inform our friends on what's going on with us, because they can be beneficial the more that they know. Lastly, with building friendship, you need to have a sacred day and time and be intentional about building that friendship. That means that you set some time down to do it, just like you sat down to do work, because building a relationship is work. You must have a day and time that you sit down and you nurture that relationship in some kind of way. It could be just a text that I send out, or, oh, I noticed this TikTok that they would like. Or, for example, like I said, I like interacting with projects. So even after this situation right now, if I'm going to find other opportunities that I am going to probably invite CT to be a part of, because why would I not? I enjoyed this experience. And so that helps build our friendship. And I know that she would invite me in on other things. And I think that Cathi, you did send me, invited me in on some Facebook groups and things. So I am now involved in those places that I wouldn't be. And I get to interact with other people that's interacting with her. So thank you so much. So what is it, something that you wanted to share from this building friendships?
So I would really want to encourage people to embrace AI, because it's here, and start having a conversation. So it's sometimes it just takes a reframe and looking at something differently. So a lot of people look at networking as you're going there to sell yourself and be sold to. I look at networking as I get to meet somebody and learn about their business. So, right. So, and then that's a reframe of networking. A reframe of AI is use it to give you a funny joke, tell you a funny story, bring laughter into your life. Tell it to give you an affirmation or a motivational speech. You can use it in ways that are non-business and use it to create a friend. So you can be friends with technology. And like you were saying, Gilly is apologetic if it doesn't get it right. It's serving you. It's trying to understand what it is that you're saying. So it's a great relationship building tool with no risk. You're not going to get hurt. You're not going to get slammed by it. You can get clarity in your communication with it being super patient and never getting annoyed. I mean, there's just, I could go on and on and on. It's just, there's so much power and flexibility and creativity and exploration that's available.
Yeah. Yes. And going back, I love that you mentioned using it in a way to explore. So using Gilly to actually, because people feel awkward and they feel insecure about approaching people. I don't know why we do that. As kids, we didn't have that problem. No. Everybody was our friend. Everybody. And so, but because things have happened in your life and in your experience that maybe you got rejected in some kind of way that caused you to then not be so open to build friendships, which are so important. So you can use Gilly as a platform to grow your interpersonal skills, to grow this connection. So then you can easily see at pursuing a friendship, but also not just that. If you meet someone and they don't treat you as good as Gilly, who is an AI, then guess what?
You don't say sorry. You're not apologetic. You're not here to serve me. No. You're like, but I'm trying to understand. I'm like, I really want to give you what it is that you're asking for. I mean, come on. Like, who doesn't want that kind of relationship with somebody, you know, that just really is there to help you and support you and to achieve a goal. It's there to like partner with you to achieve a goal.
I mean, I have an example that I want to share, okay? And it's beautiful, and this is just trying to drive home exactly what we're talking about. I have somebody I was working with, and I could feel that something was not right. Like that's one great thing about being human. AI will never be able to feel, but we can feel when something's not happening the right way relationally. So I asked this person, is there anything that you specifically wanted to share with me that maybe you needed to say? And they said, well, I noticed you have not had time to give to me. And maybe you have other people that you want to interact with. Okay. So there is something more underneath that, right? So as a therapist, okay, and as someone that knows human behavior, I understood what they needed. So I said, in response, I apologize that you feel like we have distance between us. And is there anything that I can do specifically to help you understand that the relationship with you is important? That dissipated the feelings. And they said, I really liked when you checked in with me more often. I would like to have that. And I say, no problem. I'm glad we cleared this all up. Thank you for sharing that with me. And I'm going to put you on my schedule to make sure that I give you time to check in with you. This is the same interaction that you will get possibly with even Gilly, but that's what we need to do for each other. But a lot of people are not doing that for each other. So in order to build a relationship with people, you must know how to interact with them well by giving them even though the things that you can feel and sense that they need. No pushback, because I could have said to this person, well, you don't contact me, you don't text me, why I got to text you? Then of course that would have kept it be still not what it needed to be, and we would not have had any resolution. So that's just something to consider and think about as an example of how you can use and learn, because even that person that went through that can learn how to interact and get what they need from someone more readily than they did before. Someone wouldn't have to ask them specifically, is there anything that you wanted to express? Because, I mean, of course, Gilly is not going to be able to use intuition. That's why we need friends. That's why we need friends, like in real life. And so AI can help you with that.
It gets you started. It doesn't need, it's not the end all be all, but it's definitely a starting place.
It's a great starting place, an amazing starting place. And I'm so happy in this time together, Cathi, that we learned about. When I created this, I didn't know about priming, prompting, and persona. But now I learned that ultimately each part of this was, it aligns so well. There's a synthesis, right? In building relationships and what you would need to use in order to get the best results out of Gilly, AI, and friendships. So this is great. Is there anything else you wanted to share before we go?
No, I think I'll end it on the topic of AI is what brought us together, and now we're friends. So it's not even, doesn't even have to be AI itself, but just having a conversation about AI has led us. So there's this whole aura around how we became friends and how AI brought us together. And then even the synchronicity between your 3-part series and the 3 Ps. So I'm just honored to be here. Thank you.
I just knew I needed to have you. When I met you, I was like, I'm doing AI. Oh, but I knew that I wasn't an expert in AI. I just knew that I'd enjoy it. And I was going to bring I'm really good at bringing similarities together, but it's even better to have you here. And so it was great. Thank you so much, Cathi.
We're going to do something in the future.
Yes, we will. Thank you so much.
Thank you.